As a child, I grew up going to church, and I learned a lot of things about God. One of the things I learned about God was, as John 3:16 says, that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. I just couldn't wrap my head around the idea that God loved me. And this was because there were some things that happened in my life that really caused me to question and wonder why. Why did these things happen to me? What had I done to deserve them? The first thing that really caused me to question was, as a baby, I had been put up for adoption, and I spent 2 years in an orphanage. There was so little information known about me that I don't even know when my actual birthday is. The next thing that happened was I was born with albinism, and that causes me to have no color in my hair, skin, and eyes, and it causes me to be legally blind. And also, when I was a kid growing up in school, because I looked so different, I got teased a lot. And the third and most confusing thing to me that really caused me to question why was that I was sexually abused. Being adopted, I didn't really feel like I fit in at home, and being teased at school, I didn't feel like I fit in there, and being legally blind, I really saw no future for myself, and I had all this pain and all this confusion and all this hurt, and I didn't really see a reason for living, and I attempted suicide. I just couldn't understand. If God supposedly loved me so much, why did he let all of these things happen to me? The first thing I had to understand was that God didn't cause these things to happen to me. Sin did. And yes, God could have stopped them, but that would be taking away free will. Then I heard a sermon about Jesus and what he went through on the cross. If anyone could say, this isn't fair, it would have been him. He did nothing to deserve what he received on the cross. And yet, because he loved me, he was willing to go to the cross and take the punishment that I deserved. I was so busy dwelling on what God should have been doing for me that I wasn't noticing what God had already done for me, and that was providing salvation for me. I deserved hell, but because God loved me, he offered me grace and mercy, and that I do not deserve. Before salvation, I didn't feel like I had a future. I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. I didn't see a reason for living, and I didn't feel like my life was worth living. But now, God is replacing that with the comfort and healing that only he can provide. And I have a future in heaven, and I have his promise that he will never leave me nor forsake me. And because of all the opportunities God's given me, my life is worth living. So how about you? Do you feel like life isn't fair? Do you feel like you don't deserve what's happened in your life? Do you wonder, why me, God?